the Reidville Fire Department. My name is Jane Hall, and I serve on County Council, having represented this area since 2009. I'm also chair of the Council's Livability Committee and serve on the Land Use as well as the Personnel and Finance Committee. And I'm so glad that you took the time from your schedule to come here tonight. Many thanks go to our Chief, Patrick Evatt. You want to say hey to everybody? And his team at the Reidville Fire Department for being our host this evening for a town hall discussion about growth and services in the area of the county, particularly this area of the county. I also want to especially welcome and introduce Council Chairperson Jeff Horton over here. There's his. And also Councilman David Britt. Okay. Oh, they don't go anywhere without each other? Like Jeff over there. Okay. David and my district join on the east side of the county near Spartanburg. If you're not familiar with the way our districts are set up, they're set up by population, and we try to get the same amount of population in each district. Because my area is mostly rural, I go from Packlet and Glendale all the way through Cross Anchor, Walnut Grove, down to Inneree. We have Woodruff. We come up here to Reidville, Abner Creek, anything on either side of 101, BMW, the new Bass Pro area, and all the way up into East Greer. So I have a large area that I'm constantly surveying and making sure things are going well. David has served on the council for almost 25 years and currently chairs the county's Economic Recruitment and Development Committee. And thank you, David, for being here. Thank you, Jeff, for being here. Jeff has been on council for about 22 years. 20 years? Okay, great. I also want to welcome other officials who have joined us. And we have members of the Sheriff's Office that will speak. We have Kevin Bobo and Jason Hamlet, officers. There they are in the back. And we're looking for Tony Hawkins. Hopefully he'll come also. He's your resident deputy for this area. The representatives of the town of Reidville, I saw Mayor Snow. Where is Mayor Snow? Okay, Mayor Snow. And council members, as well as the administrator. Wait, there we go. We know who runs this place. Okay. And we may have some representatives from the city of Greer. Is anyone here from the city of Greer? Okay. I'd also like to thank Sherry Barrett from Upstate Forever for being here. Sherry, in the back. And we appreciate you joining us. And I'd also like to recognize Todd Stevens with Spartanburg County Library System. Todd? Todd has with him several members of his team. I'd also, and we'll get to you in just a moment. And I'd also like to recognize Lisa Scott, who is the mayor of Duncan. Lisa, nice to see you. Okay. We also have Bill Chumley, our House Representative District 35 here with us, our local guy. And let's see, have I left anyone out? I can assure you, everyone sitting here is a very important person, and we appreciate you all being here. I'd also like to recognize the county staff that is here. We have our county administrator, Ms. Catherine O'Neill. We have the assistant county administrator, Jim Pimp. We also have the director of planning, Bob Harkrader. And along with him, we have Joan Holliday, Kelly McCormick, and did Sherry get it? Okay. We also have Lisa Bollinger, who is with our SPATS, Spartanburg Area Transportation Study. We appreciate all of these coming out tonight as well. If I've left anyone out, please yell at me, and we'll recognize. Okay? All right, thank you. And thank you for signing the list when you came in and putting your little dot on the map. This gives us all a great idea of the representation of the people that are in this room, especially if you're from this area and in this district. This way we can follow up with you after the meeting. And tonight is actually intended to be about an hour for us to exchange information. I decided to have this meeting because it became obvious to me that there's a lot of discussion in the community right now about growth and the delivery of services. From new residents who want to get services like high-speed internet, to members of the community who have lived here all their life and who are concerned about traffic and development. So the first part of this meeting will be focused on services, fire service, law enforcement, address the issue of high-speed internet. And the latter part will be about growth that is coming to this area of the county, to make sure that I have a chance to hear any concerns that you may have that I can help you guys with. And we will wrap up about 7 or so, out of respect for everyone's schedule and the fact that this is the second game of the College World Series, and it's SEC versus ACC. So those of you who like baseball, which I'm one of. So we'll wrap it up about that time. If your question is not answered, we have cards and a box over here for you to write that question down with your name and some way for me to get in touch with you so I can come back and address those questions. I will get you answers. It may not necessarily be what you want to hear, but the truth is the truth regardless. So we will get that information back to you. Also, I have my business cards here. So it has my cell number, my home number, my address. If you need anything and you need to get in touch with me, I am available. So please make sure you pick up one of those as well. We have not only this map here, we also have other maps available. One is the Bass Pro site itself, so you can look at that. Another is this particular area of 101 Avenue Creek, Reidville, so that you can see what are areas that you may be interested in. And also, I think it's important for us to realize that we do have municipalities that are doing some annexation, in particular Greer, and we have on this map areas that they have already annexed. Some of them may be close to you, so you may want to look at that map as well. So let's start with services first. And I've asked Chief Abbott to come in and spend a few moments sharing information about the Reidville Fire Department. I'd also like to recognize Jimmy Green. He's over here with EMS Services. So if we have any questions that can go toward him, perhaps we can do that at a later time also. So Chief Abbott, I turn it to you.
It moved easier a minute ago, didn't it? All right, again, my name's Patrick Abbott. I'm the fire chief here. I'd love to welcome you here. I didn't do all this. These guys in the back and the guys that worked yesterday, my B and C shifts, they did all this preparation for everybody. You may not believe me, but there was a lot more stuff in this phase. We actually purchased 2 new fire trucks back in September. They were delivered here in the first week of June. One sitting there and one sitting there on either end. One's a new tanker and one's a new engine. So we had 2 trucks worth of equipment in boxes in these bays. So they have done an outstanding job cleaning up and storing things. What I'd like to do is tell you a few things about the fire department. I've been fire chief here just a little over 4.5 years. My background's been the fire service for the last 20. This is probably I would say, the best place to work. These guys, best group of guys, best group of firemen I've ever worked with, same with the volunteers in the community. But a few things we've done, and I just have a short list here, and then I'll give you a couple of things we're working on in the future. But we've actually put iPads on all our first out engines. This helps us with mapping, emergency response software. Also, we have a cost recovery system for accidents, especially highway accidents. We don't bill residents. We don't bill any individual. We also have a new, I guess we call it a new, oh, can't hear me? This thing moves, and I'm short. There we go. All right. We've changed to an outside accounting firm. We use a firm called Green, Finney & Horton. They take care of all our bills, all our payroll, all that stuff. That's usually a couple of days every week. We're sending emails back and forth and scanning bills. We will have an audit this year. It's planned later on, probably September, October range, after a few other little details are ironed out. We purchased some new furniture and TV for the day room. This was after an unfortunate incident we had back in the fall where we had to destroy some furniture and the floor from the bedroom, the bunk room, so we had those replaced. We put in new computers and new cabling in the fire station. We were kind of operating off Windows 98 or I don't know, Windows 2000. We've upgraded, so we're in the information age. We've added one full-timer. We have two guys. I should have told you this. We work two full-time guys a shift, 24 hours on, 48 off. We've added one guy that covers vacation. His name is Garrett. He's actually going to get the chairs. By the end of this year, we will have hired 2 more personnel to increase our staffing level to 3 per shift. With the next 2 or 3 year goal is to add a 4th. We've added some short-term and long-term disability. I don't want to bore you with everything we do, but I want to give you an update of what's been going on. We're in the process of updating our employee handbook and SOG and our bylaws for the commission board. We have an outside firm evaluating that. Appalachian Council of Governments is helping us with that. We've put new locks in the building. Changed all the locks on the outside doors, inside doors. Now, it's the coolest thing in the world. I used to have to carry about 1,000 keys. Now I need 1 key to get in any building and lock, or any door and lock it. You see I've added keys to this. I thought I could get away with that, but it hadn't worked. So we've redone that, and the new trucks are here. They should go in service by the middle of July. We have to mount equipment, and we're trying to take our time and plan and put things in strategic locations and make sure we don't end up like a Swiss Army knife, or you know how when you pack your closet, you clean your room. I got teenagers, when they clean their room, everything goes in the closet or under the bed, and if you move something, like a jack-in-the-box comes out. We don't want that to happen, so we're strategically replacing all of our equipment. We have a new sign for the road. The cool thing is you can all see it without going to the road. We're waiting on them to install it. It's right there behind the mayor and Sandra in a nice crate. Hopefully within the next week or so that'll be installed. It's a full color LED. We can give you any information you need on that sign. We're in the early stages of remodeling. If you notice, all these front bay doors are glass. 2 weeks ago they didn't look this way. They look just like the back doors. We've replaced every door, new operating hardware and systems. It was getting expensive to repair the old doors. Every time one broke, it would take them a month or 2 to find parts. So we replaced them all. You came through our day room and kitchen, and they're moving in our training room. Well, this time next year it's going to be flip-flopped. This will be the training room, which is larger, and the day room and kitchen will be in the back part of the building. We're going to do some painting inside now and paint the bays. And we hope to have this completed by November 1st. That's what my note says. So I'm hoping we'll have that done by November 1st. Also, we're working on our 5-year plan. This is what's very exciting, is we're in the planning stages, and I say planning stages, of purchasing land and building substations. We're going to have to build 2 substations here to cover our district. ISO, or the Insurance Service Organization, is coming to see us in August, September, and that's what affects our insurance rating or classification in your rating. Right now it's a 4. We're hoping that's going to drop a little. If it drops to a 3, it really won't amount to much in a decrease for homeowner insurance. For commercial, it does. But we want to maintain or drop to a 4. That's our goal. And that's another reason we need to build stations, is because of what James talking about, growth, population growth. I was looking at a chart they brought me today, and just in the next 10 years, we're probably going to see 20,000 to 30,000 more people in this area. That's just an estimate. But hopefully one of those stations is going to be, I say it's going to be kind of groundbreaking. We're going to have a collaborative effort with several county agencies, where you'll have more than just fire service coming out of there. Hopefully it includes some folks that can help us all. And that's about as far as I can go with that right now. But as soon as we can make that announcement, we will. We'll just go through, make sure we go through the proper planning process and site evaluation and assessment. But that's it. I thank y'all for coming out. It's always great to show off the fire trucks. If everybody was like, give y'all a fire hat and a sticker. But if anybody likes a fire hat and a sticker, we'll make sure to get you one. We have cookies and cupcakes in the back, water and lemonade. Thank y'all for being here. I'm going to keep talking while they move these chairs. Then somebody will be interrupted. But, yes, ma'am. We can. If I can, I'll leave some of my cards on that table. For the end of the night, there used to be some at the entrance, but I'll leave some cards. And contact me or contact the fire department. We're glad to do that. We host birthday parties. During our renovation time,
My Reidville Fire Department is above all else. And you people in Willow Creek, this is your fire service right here. And all of you, I'm sure you recognize Reidville as being a fire service agency that you can always count on. For our newer residents, we'd like for you to meet our resident deputy and 2 of the other staff members of the Sheriff's Office. If you would come up now, please. I think you'll find from what they have to say exactly how safe a community you live in. So I'm excited to recognize Officer Kevin Bobo, Jason Hamlet, and our resident officer, Tony Hawkins.
How are you? All right, let's do it this way. My name is Kevin Bobo. I'm a Master Deputy with the Sheriff's Office. I've been with the Sheriff's Department the last 27 years. First thing I want to say is this is a whole lot nicer meeting at a fire department than the last one I went to at Roebuck. For those of you who don't remember, that's when they were all up in arms about the Department of Correction housing that was going in the Roebuck area. So it's nice to speak to what I hope is a nicer group of people than was there that night. Not that they were mad at us, but they were mad at the situation, and I understand their frustration. What I asked Ms. Hall to pass around, I had our crime analyst run some statistics for the Reidville area. Now, before you think you've got a way low crime rate, that is just for the Reidville zip code. There's only been 26 reported incidents since the first of the year if you live in the Reidville zip code. Now, I know from patrolling down here many years ago This side of the road can be Greer, this side of the road can be Woodruff. Now, you don't have to go far up Duncan River Road, your address can be Duncan, I understand that. But, and I'm fixing to date myself, when I patrolled this area, 290 was still 2 lanes and River Falls wasn't built yet. So, I understand. Traditionally in Spartanburg County, the further out you live from the city limits, the less crime you have. It does not mean you're impervious to crime, but traditionally, the further out you live, then the least likely you are to be a victim of crime. But we still need your help. When I started 27 years ago, we did good to run third shift with 8 officers and that county supervisor. Now, you've got between 19 and 22 officers on the road at any given time. However, call volume 27 years ago was here. Call volume now is up here. Folks, we used to have people call 911 to ask directions. They call 911 to find out what time a particular restaurant closes. You would be amazed at the phone calls that come into 911 that have nothing to do with a police, fire, or EMS matter. But Spartanburg County is 830 square miles, and the reason somebody like Tony is so important, we applied for a grant last year and got it. We have 5 officers that are called regional support units. They're not tied down to that radio. They work together as a group. If there's a problem area that comes up, then their team can go address that area. But again, that's only as good as the information we get from you. A lot of people, and unfortunately it's a sign of the times we live in, don't want to get involved or don't want to call unless a situation directly affects them. Well, most of you in this room know each other, know what cars belong at which houses, know when people go on vacation. We need you to be nosy neighbors again, and we've kind of gotten away from that. So if you see something like out of place, there may be nothing to it, but call us and let us check it out. They may not be doing anything wrong when you see them, but how do you know they just didn't break into somebody else's house down the street? And on that note, please use your common sense and listen to our local media. Part of my job is being the Assistant Public Information Officer, and I'm afraid, and it's not just local, it's national level. Local and national media have become so social media driven. You wouldn't believe some of the questions we get. So please maintain your common sense when you watch the local media, because they'll make you think Spartanburg County is one of the worst crime-ridden areas in the country. And it's not. Now, are we comparable with Greenville, Lexington, and Richland? Yes. But traditionally, since 2006, our numbers across the board are down. And I've often asked Sheriff,
the intersection of College Street and Reidville Road, but some areas nearby are served with UVers. I had a chance to actually meet him in a meeting and ask him what the problem was. And if you go on Silver Lake Road and Gano Road, sometimes you'll see an ATT guy working in a great big green box. That green box is actually a control mechanism to get that internet service out. What he told me is that we have to look at each address individually as opposed to specific neighborhoods. The product is one that's considered distance sensitive and not a product that can be offered to every customer, as a customer premise may be located too far from a serving terminal. That big green box there at the corner of Gano and Silver Lake Road is a serving terminal. What he told me in a conversation was they could not reach out past a 2-mile limit with one serving terminal. And the problem is acquiring the land where a landowner will allow a serving terminal to be placed on. And not only that, but the serving terminal has to go along a roadway. It can't cross over land like a sewer line can or anything like that. However, he wants to hear from the individuals who want to see DSL and high-speed internet come to your area. So we will have a paper that's labeled ATT. If you will sign up with your name and address and how to reach you, then we will get that information out to Mr. Evers with AT&T. And if we have enough, maybe we'll just be able to push him into getting internet more available to this area. You know, I find this really strange. I live in Autumnbrook, which is on the other end of Gano Road and just across. And I have ATT internet and UVerse and high-speed DSL. So I think it's really just a matter of time, you know, and supplies a field for Thursday morning groups to play softball. And I think our Willow Creek guys may know all about playing softball on Thursday mornings. Is there a Chuck Papali here? Oh yeah, yeah, okay. So I know several men on that team, and I know they have a great time. 2 years ago, I volunteered for the NSA World Series of girls softball there at the park. And we're hosting that again this year. And we need volunteers. If you're interested in volunteering, let me know. I'll get you the contact information for you. Volunteers can be utilized from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., staggered hours, whatever you want to do during that week. And it's a great opportunity to get out there and be out there with the youth of America and just have some great times with them. So there's an opportunity to call the ball games and to keep scores. And you know, really think about that. If you want to be part of your community and this activity, let me know. Also, just to give you an update about Tyger River, mid-July should be the opening of the splash pad that will be available with the water feature there. So if you have children and grandchildren and are over there walking and just need to get yourself wet, then come on by and enjoy the splash pad. And it will be manned by park personnel during the times that it's open. So I wanted to give you that information. Now, as growth comes, I recognize that there can be both excitement and apprehension. There's been a buzz of excitement about Bass Pro Shops deciding to locate on Highway 101 and I-85. If you aren't aware of exactly which site is being purchased by Bass Pro, we have a map over here that can actually show you that. And while Bass Pro Shops is still in the early stages of their design, they are planning to open in 2016 at this site and are working with both BMW and South Carolina Department of Transportation on traffic flow in this area. At this time, I would be remiss if I did not recognize David Britt as one of the great pushers for Bass Pro coming to this area. David, would you like to say a word?
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Okay.
But I'll tell you why I was pushing Bass Pro Shop so hard and so excited to announce that we're coming here. It's because Jeff Horton has been asking for this and said, we need Bass Pro here. He's been doing that for like 5 years. And the association that I've had with him in the last year, Jeff was right on the money. He knew what he was talking about. Because, you know, a lot of you folks have been in Spartanburg County for a long time. And you know what happened in the 80s when the textile industry went away. Hey, had it not been for BMW, we would be in terrible shape. BMW came in and changed us from an oh heck attitude to oh yes attitude. And now this area, Spartanburg County, this Reidville, Duncan, you know, west side of Spartanburg is known around the world. And that's in large part because why we got Torrey, which just announced, you know, in February, which is going to be another BMW type boost to the Spartanburg County economy. And, you know, Torrey, BMW announcing another $1 billion, and then we had the cream on the cake, Jeff's president, Bass Pro. That's going to change this side of the county again like nothing we've ever seen before. You know, when somebody, you know, when a BMW or Bass Pro, a BMW or Torrey announce $1 billion investment, we get really excited about it because we know it offers jobs and opportunity. That's the key for us. But with Bass Pro coming here, it puts us, you know, really in a market and on the map like only other 66 places in the United States. And that'll be something every citizen of Spartanburg County will be able to enjoy. Take your grandkids out there, your kids out there. I mean, this place is going to be phenomenal, and all the development around it. We, as a county, Catherine O'Neill and our team and our staff, along with our council, back when they announced in April, we decided we weren't going to let them do just like they normally do, put out a press release. We wanted them to show what Spartanburg is all about and how we do things when it comes to economic development. And that's why we put on that great big announcement down at the Chapman Cultural Center. That little message or that little event that we put on has caused Bass Pro to put this thing in high gear. Now their announced date is January of 16, but Johnny Morris, who's the founder and the owner of Bass Pro, and their team said, listen, something's special about Spartanburg. And they're pushing this thing. Again, our team at the county and all the other partners that we have here are working weekly with Bass Pro to see if we can get this thing open late next year. And they are being bombarded by the retail establishments, the restaurants, the hotels, all the retail that they will develop, and they're doing it themselves. That 75, 80 acre property will be packed. The hotel is going from 150 rooms initially, it's over 200 rooms now. And they're constantly working on how they're going to make this thing fit in. The bowling alley that'll be in is going from, I think, 12 or 14, whatever they call them, lanes, to over 16, maybe 20 now. So this side of Spartanburg is going to explode from the retail side. Again, we got 290, which Torrey is going to help explode. 101 from Woodruff. Again, our team was out with Woodruff last week because what we want to have is smart growth. We really want to do this right. I don't want to talk about our neighbors on the other side, but we don't want a road situation like they have in a certain part of their area. We want this thing to work so our citizens can enjoy getting up in the morning, whether you're going to work or going to Bass Pro or going to do anything, go play golf. We want it to be smart. And I got to hand it to Chairman Horton and Catherine and Jane. I mean, they've been smart about this for a long time. And I do have to say a word on behalf of Jane Hall. Y'all have one of the hardest working, most dedicated council members that I've worked with in my 24 plus years. Jane takes it very seriously.
Wait a minute, let's bring this up so everybody can hear that.
You got one of the hardest working council people that I've ever worked with. Now, Jane and I don't always agree. My wife doesn't always agree with me. Heck, I don't always agree with myself. I mean, I'll take some positions, but she will stand up, and she's done a great job in bringing her voice and your voice to council. Because as a subdivision, if you own property out here, we're not trying to tell you what to do with them, but we're also trying to protect you, from having a shredder move near your house or your property as well. So that's something that Jane will be needing to hear, and we'll need to hear you and get your support as well as we move forward. But it couldn't be a more exciting time to be in Spartanburg. We got great things going on. We got more things planned too. We got some really cool things that are happening real soon. So thanks for letting me come up.
Thank you. I think one of the things that we're seeing with the Bass Pro Shops is that's creating an area of Spartanburg County that is actually going to be a destination, a travel destination. We know they're talking about at least one very nice hotel on the premises. We expect others to come about as well. Between that and the Tyger River Park, and then we have other things on 29 that are taking shape. This area is truly going to be a travel destination. And with that come tourism dollars. These are dollars that you and I aren't spending, but that people outside of our area are coming and staying and spending their money, creating hospitality tax for us and creating accommodations tax for us for Spartanburg County to utilize. I just want to touch base with you on one thing. People say, exactly what has Tyger River Park done for anyone? Well, I'd like to give you this information, and I think it actually ran in the paper a few weeks ago. When it opened back in March 12th of 2012 until June 30th of 2012, we saw an economic impact of $8.6 million. From July 1st of 2012 until June 30th of 2013, remember we had the World Series of softball, girls softball there. We had an economic impact in this area of over $14 million. We're on par right now from July 1st of 2013 until today of $7.3 million. But next month we will be having the World Series NSA, and we expect that to bump up above $14 million for this time frame. So the economic impact of the Tyger River Park is tremendous, and we hope that we're also going to be able to see that when we become a tourist destination, which is one of the things that Bass Pro is going to do for us. Now, I've heard several residents express apprehension about traffic and the growth that large developments may bring. While I know that the South Carolina Department of Transportation is looking very carefully at this area to get ahead of traffic, if you come tonight with concerns about growth, I'd like to hear them so that I can focus on those issues with the DOT and county staff on these areas as we plan for growth. Is there anyone here from the city of Greer? I had gotten a message that perhaps someone from the city of Greer would be here tonight, but we know that they are having their own city council meeting tonight as well. A lot of people are very concerned about the growth of the city of Greer and the annexation. I'll just have to hold this. The annexation that is taking place. Spartanburg County has no control over what a municipality may annex into their city limits. That's out of our venue. We cannot deal with that. But what we can do is we can work with these municipalities to make sure certain issues are addressed. There's a map over here that has several blue areas on it. Those are areas that are near you, where you're seeing development, that have already been annexed into the city of Greer. And we know that they're able to do that because many developers need to have sewer access in order to grow their community in the way that they want to. And the city of Greer has a sewer line that attracts and goes down into the Abner Creek area and Abner Creek Road. So you're going to see some of those annexations on that map. Make sure you look at it so you'll understand what we're talking about. You know, there's issues with that. One of those, which is something that I have harped on ever since I came into office, is road infrastructure. And when you have 191 houses going up on a very small country rural road that has never seen much traffic on it, and now you know that 191 houses probably have 2 people that drive cars, you multiply that, you could have as much as 380 people coming in and out of that subdivision on that little road every single day. So we have met with some developers, and they understand that a lot of this is their responsibility, and they want to do something to help improve the road conditions. But SCDOT is focusing right now on main arteries, and we're not, we know that they're not truly looking at the secondary roads at this time because, as everyone knows, money is stretched with them as it is with anyone else. But we need to make sure that whoever is developing these developments also take into consideration, do we have a turning lane to turn in and out of it? What else can we do? Catherine O'Neill and myself and Jim Hipp actually met with the city manager of Greer and with the mayor about 2 months ago now, and sat down and had a very frank discussion with them. And one of the things that we discussed was the road infrastructure, and where does the city of Greer stand with this, since they now have annexed to the road? Are they going to take over any responsibility on this as well? Now, I can tell you in that meeting, the mayor assured me that they were going to be very good stewards, and they were also going to work with whoever to address the issue of road infrastructure. That was a conversation we had 2 months ago. So we are keeping that dialogue open. We're talking with them. We want to make sure that things are moving smoothly. Once again, Spartanburg County sometimes, as a matter of fact, I got an email yesterday from a resident who was concerned, their neighbors were concerned about an apartment complex that is being built on the distal end of Abner Creek Road. Well, we knew nothing about it. Our planning people knew nothing about it because that piece of property had already been annexed into the city of Greer. And they don't have to send us information about that. We wish they would, because we also have great drainage experts that can help with developments as they come about. But I was somewhat taken aback, as were our planning people, because, you know, they didn't have to have a building permit or anything from us because it's in the city of Greer. So there are some times when we may not know things that if you will tell us, it will stay on top of things as well. So let's make sure we keep that open communication available. So if you see something going on, give us a call, give me a call. We'll check into it and see what's going on with that. Okay? Now it's time for questions. Do we have any questions? We can gear these questions toward any of our staff or myself, whatever. Yes, ma'am. You want to stand up so I can hear you better?
I live on Snow Road, right off 101, and it's your that's where that development is going in, 194 houses. We attended several meetings with their council, and those meetings, they told us they were not going to be responsible for those developments. I drive an expedition. My vehicle alone makes up 3/4 of that road. You know, we know that development is going to happen. It's inevitable. But to me, the conditions on that road are horrendous. There's curves on that road where two cars can't even pass each other at the same time. There's nowhere for only the one car to get over. To me, the road should be addressed before the development goes in.
I agree. And, you know, if we had land use measures in place with Spartanburg County, it would be a lot easier to do. But we have no land use ordinances or measures that would address that. However, I can tell you that that developer wants to do what is right, and he wants to widen that road. He needs 25 feet from the center of the road over on each side, so that the shoulders can be addressed and it can be widened. But not everyone is in agreement of that on Snow Road, and he's running into some obstacles. And some people, you know, are not willing to allow him to do that.
Is he going to do that down from Snow Road from 101 to Abner Creek and from Snow Road down Burns Road?
No, I think he's looking at the interchange, you know, where 101 and Snow Road comes in.
I mean, that's fine and dandy, but that's not going to address the whole road. That whole road is narrow. I challenge everybody here to drive down that road, and if you're in agreement, write to the stroller, write to somebody, because it's going to be hazardous.
It is going to be hazardous. I've driven that road several times. I think it's one of the most beautiful country roads I've ever been on. And I personally hate the fact that it's going to be disrupted in the way it is. You know, Spartanburg County is ready to come to the table, but the city of Greer has got to come on to the table as well. Otherwise, what we're going to see is DOT recognizing this after someone has gotten injured or hurt and do something with that interchange. And the people who are going to pay for it is going to be you and me as county taxpayers. So I agree, we need something in place. We should have addressed this issue before that, but at this time, the county has no mechanism to do that because we have no ordinances that address that issue with the developers or anyone else at this time. Catherine or Bob, would you like to answer any of that?
Councilman Hall, I think that you've done a good job in addressing it. I think that you made a great point about the city of Greer needing to be involved in this discussion, because the growth that's coming with the sewer that's being provided by the municipality. So, as a team, we need to get together with the city of Greer and the county and the citizens and work through what the transportation needs and the expansions are going to need to be. So I'm sorry that we ended up scheduling this meeting at the same time that the city of Greer was having their meeting, because I think that they're integral to this conversation. They're issuing the permits, they're expanding the growth, so we need another team member here at the table.
Thank you, Catherine. Do we have any other concerns? Yes, ma'am.
Just a question about the 101 heading towards Woodruff. I think someone mentioned about the economic growth that's going to take place along that part of the road. Are there sewer lines in that area? Are we ready for development? Is there anything that we know that's planned? How will we know when something is going in?
Okay. Well, many times I can guarantee you, without me knowing it, that there are people wheeling and dealing and looking at land for purchase right now that I have no clue about. And I think that we would probably find that they're on both sides of 101 going down toward Woodruff. We are very fortunate in the fact that although we may not have sewer infrastructure right now for something that someone needs, we have access to it. One of the things that I think is very exciting is the fact that the city of Woodruff is redoing their whole sewer structure and updating it and upgrading it so that they will be able to offer sewer access and sewer lines to any development that's coming up on that distal end of 101. We also have the Greer that's on one side of 101, but we also have the ability to tie into Spartanburg Sanitary Sewer as well on this side of 101. So we have sewer access points, and I really don't think that that's truly going to be an issue in the near future as to who and what does what.
Was that an issue around that time that several buildings would be taking place around that intersection?
Where?
296?
Okay, 296 is Reidville Road right here. Are you talking about 417, or are you talking about
The one that, yeah, I guess.
221? Oh yeah, 101 in Reidville Road.
So are there current plans to build another?
Well, the city of Greer has annexed that area across the road on 101 that kind of butts up to Joe's Lake, that area right in there. So we're not privy to what the city of Greer is doing. We would like to be, because we feel like we could work together and create something that would be much better in the area than just having them look at this as a tax base and a great way for us to tap into another tax base.
Are they not in Spartanburg County, or is that another county, the city of Greer?
Greer is actually a city that is half in Spartanburg County and half in Greenville County.
Where you're talking about in Spartanburg?
It's all in Spartanburg County.
They don't have to report to Spartanburg County on the
They are a municipality, they are independent.
and the only way you can get sewer on the other side of 101 is annexed into the city of Greer.
That's what they say.
It's not what they say it's true. That's the only way you can get sewer. It's annexed to
The city of Greer does not want to offer sewer service unless you come into their city. That is correct.
Why can't we get sewer to Spartanburg County
We can.
on the other side of 101?
Well, that's something, we have a thing with the federal sewer plan. It's called a 208 plan that gets very complicated. But I think if an individual developer wanted Spartanburg sanitary sewer, that is something that could be negotiated and worked out. Any other question? Yes, sir.
I'm not good at all, I just gonna about that.
Okay.
How about the ball field over here? And you quoted a lot of millions of dollars that economic has from this. I'm a taxpayer here, you are, all the people here are. We spent $17 million over there to build this. How can we benefit from that?
Well, I think one of the things that you're going to see is when you have money coming back into the system from hospitality tax or accommodations tax.
How will it get right here?
I don't know that. I doubt that it will. Because Tyger River Park was never built to make money. What it was built was to offer a service for the citizens of Spartanburg County to utilize that park. One of the things that we know that has been told us time and time again is what is the livability capacity of Spartanburg County? When Torrey and some of these other companies are looking to settle in Spartanburg County, they want to know what is there for my staff and my employees to do when they're not working for me. Is there a place for them to take their children to enjoy the outdoors? Is there a place where they can compete and be part of a sports situation? What is there to do? And we have taken that very seriously and are realizing that Spartanburg County is a gem of opportunity. We have some of the greatest blueways, the Packlet River, we have the Tyger River. People are really into water sports and kayaking and things of this sort. And we want an active population. I go over and walk at the Tyger River twice a day, you know, because I enjoy getting out in nature and walking. I also enjoy on the weekends meeting the different people from all the different states who have come in to play baseball at our Tyger River Park, who are staying somewhere in a hotel, which is meaning that somebody working in that hotel has a job because these people are renting rooms there. It means that there's restaurants that have gone up on 290 and restaurants hopefully that will go up on 101 that will meet the need of these people who are here spending their money, and also to meet the need of us as residents to be a place where we want to take our families as well. So Tyger River was never meant to be a retail endeavor to where at the end of the year we're going to say, oh look, we made $1 million profit. What it does is it offers a service that then has an economic impact upon the county and upon the other residents in this county of millions of dollars. If you're wanting the park to make money and give you some, it's not going to do that. But it's going to offer you a service that you can go and take advantage of if you want to.
The hospitality tax, young lady, where does it go?
I'm going to let you answer that. She deals with the money.
I appreciate you being able to make a fool out of that.
I appreciate you being up here and standing up here with me.
Hospitality tax revenues by statute can only be used for certain functions, and they're largely tourism driven again. So we use hospitality tax to go back into the parks to help with their operation and maintenance costs. So that takes some of the burden off of the property tax revenue to try to help places like Tyger River Park and some of our other parks.
I think one of the things we need to understand is we're focusing right now on this area and this district right here. But we have 6 other districts in Spartanburg County who the people also are crying out and saying, we want these services in our area as well. It may be that some of the hospitality tax that is generated by Tyger River and comes back into the park system goes to help build the Holston Creek complex that is going to take place. Or it goes down into Packlet, or it goes up to Chesney or to Cowpens with those ball fields. You know, the one thing I can tell you is we have a parks department that is very good and are very great stewards of the money in which they get. And we as a council, Jeff and David and myself and the other council members, want to make sure there's equity throughout Spartanburg County. We want to make sure that the people in Inner Reed get something out of that hospitality tax, as well as the people in Cowpens, and as well as the people here in Reidville. So when you're talking about livability, and you're talking about bringing industry in, one of the things you're looking at is, well, what is there to do? I don't really care for people coming and working in Spartanburg County and living over in Greenville County, because there's more opportunity for them and their children to do there. I want them to live in Spartanburg County, I want them to work in Spartanburg County, and I want them to spend their money in Spartanburg County. And that is what I think all of us need to realize, is we have a lot of situations where people may work here, but they don't spend their money here. And so we've got to do something that creates an atmosphere to where people will want to do that. You know, the day of going out in the backyard and playing stickball and doing some of the other things that we used to do growing up. Of course, I used to play in the street. A lot of people probably did. But, you know, those days are kind of going by the wayside, and people want things that they feel safe and can allow their children to do. So that's one of the reasons we're doing this. I also want to make a mention to you for those golfers, there's another type of golf coming into the area, and it's called disc golf. And if you look around all of Tyger River Park, you'll see all these square things, and you're wondering what those are, and all these boulders. Well, that's part of the disc golf course that is being built, which is also going to be a great opportunity for the local people to get out and get exercise and walk that course and throw those frisbees and see how well you are. Absolutely some gorgeous wooded area over there that they're keeping intact and developing. So one day my dog and I were over there walking on that course, and she scared up one of the biggest does I've ever seen. My goodness. She ran it for about 25 yards and then she couldn't go any further. But you know, that's one of the things that we're looking at and trying to do with Tyger River Park. But I'd like to know, do you have any issues or concerns that we have not addressed about the road usage or anything of that sort? Because quite frankly, we do understand that things are changing, and it's nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing we can do to stop it. You know, I'm a capitalist. I believe that if somebody can make a profit and do something with that, that's a great thing. And if there's people here that have land that they've had in their families for a long time, and they want to sell it to a developer, then who am I to stop them from doing that? But on the same token, I want that developer to also take ownership of that and understand that there is something that he needs to do for the community and for the other residents that live in that area, to make sure there are no bottlenecks, to make sure there are no road hazards, and to make sure life continues as we would like it to do. There was a question. Yes, sir.
James, going back to the DOT, you said they was looking into the Highway 101 85 corridor. How aggressive are they looking into it, and who with the county is working and pushing this a little bit? Because I can foresee, and everybody in here can foresee, another Pelham Road or Woodruff Road that's even worse on 101 trying to get off 85.
Right, and that's one of the things.
Now the maintenance on that road is downhill, because if you go across the bridge there, you get a big bump. You have to just about stop before you knock your front end out. So who in the county is working with DOT, and how fast track is this going to be done?
I have some information here. And one of the things I'd like to say is we've been in conversations with Woody Willard, who is the SCDOT commissioner for this area. Woody lives in Spartanburg, grew up in Spartanburg. He understands this. And it's always nice to have a commissioner representing you kind of knows the situation here, as opposed to being someone from Greenville or Anderson County who may not truly understand these things. There's two projects that directly impact the 85-101 interchange. One of them could be increasing the 101 acceleration lanes by striping and construction of a park and ride lot at that interchange. They're looking very seriously at this because money has been released and has been approved by Governor Haley to get started on operations on 85. With Bass Pro working alongside BMW, we've got two players there that want to make sure that interchange is going to be handled strategically so that it will be a good on and off area. It could be, in their development. As a matter of fact, you can actually go to a website, the scdot.org/inside I-85. You can pull that up on the web, and they will go through plan by plan their whole, it's on the PDF format, I believe, and you'll be able to see all the text on this subject. And one of the things they are doing is trying to address this. David.
Okay, let me throw one quick thing in, because that's a great question, and it's something that, tied in with BMW. They're going to be adding 900 extra employees, with that new plant. And we made the announcement with Bass on a Wednesday. The following Thursday, we had a team in Springfield, Missouri, and, of Spartanburg officials along, Woody Willard was invited. He couldn't go because he was tied up in a meeting, but they have weekly been in conversations, both Woody Willard, South Carolina DOT, and Bass, along with BMW. And that is a high priority, fast track problem, or opportunity actually, that they're working on weekly. And I saw Woody this past weekend. They're meeting on it, driving it, because they want to be ahead of the curve. And we don't want a Woodruff Road. That's the road I was speaking of earlier. And you're absolutely right, because that will impact this area. And Bass Pro and BMW are working as partners right now because they don't want to be the problem, and they don't want to have a problem with each other. You're talking about 3 million people probably visiting that Bass Pro alone a year. And then, BMW's working with them. They want to make sure the shift changes are right and all those people going out there. A great question. And the lady on the front, your question about sewer coming down 101, another great thing. That's why, this is very important to have this team in here working with our team, because we all are partners. You're all paying your tax dollars. You want to know how it's going. And growth is coming, but we want it to be smart, planned growth too. So that is happening.
Thank you. And I think that's why we're here, is we know growth is coming, but we want to make sure that there is some strategy associated with that growth. We have a developer on Snow Road who really wants to help to make that road better. But if you don't have the residents agreeing to it, then it's not going to get done. And it won't get done until DOT at some point in the future decides that something has to be done. And then they take the amount of road that they need to make the road what it needs to be, and the amount of land. So, we've got to look at this. We've got to all be on the same page with this. I don't know that smart growth is a good term because it's gotten overused and it tends to have some concepts that may not truly be something that we're looking at. But I do think wise growth is what we're looking at. And whatever we've got to do to make sure we have a good community still is what we've not got to do. I have the cards and the pens over there. If you don't have a grievance or a problem, that's okay. But if you have suggestions or you want to see something happen in this area, if you want some land use strategies take place, then please let me know so we can address that issue. I don't think anybody wants it to just happen willy-nilly with no order to it at all. So we've got to look at some way to create order and not make chaos out of all of this. Yes, sir.
I don't want to be negative and talk about smart planning, but I'm from here, I grew up here. Talk about the ballpark over here was built. And the smart planning of all the ballpark and how much money is brought into this area. I watched the opening of the ballpark. They had the grand opening. The road blades to the ballpark, the two entrances were still being put coming in and the road tore up on a part they've been planned for 10 years. They fixed the opening on Brick Road on both ends. Gainer Road and Dillon Road, there's been $50 million come into this area, and both those roads haven't been repaid yet. I mean, y'all got 100,000 people a year coming in here for these parts. My truck's falling off in the potholes up there, and all it takes 100,000 people in tour buses to eat the road. Where's all that money coming from?
Let me address that. If you'll look at the road sign there on Gaynor Road, you'll see that it has a state insignia. That's a state DOT road. And they will continue to fix it and fix the potholes and everything.
State or county, either way, y'all have the connection, call them up.
And we do.
That road hasn't been fixed, there's potholes in it that deep.
I agree, I drive
I'm
on
not talking about, I mean, and y'all want all this extra growth in here? What good is it gonna do for everybody that's from here? We're not gonna get that much out of it, I can promise. And also, you talking about the developer over there, the only reason he wants that road wide, I can tell you, the only reason he wants that road wide, so he can sell his 194 houses and put the money in his pocket. He could care less about anybody else.
Let me tell you something, that developer is going to develop that land.
And I don't doubt that he's gonna develop it, but I can promise you, that is the only reason he wants that road wide. He could care less about anybody else on that road, and I know this about.
Understood. Anyone else?
About
Yes.
Lawrence